Well, after 2 months, the manual swap is finally driving. I've put about 200 miles on it so far, and this thing is an absolute blast to drive.
Yep, everything's cleared out. You've got nothing behind you all the way out.
Ooh, that vibration is horrible. I definitely need that other drive shaft. That thing grabs.
Oh yeah, you haven't driven the clutch.
No. Oh yeah, that needs to be altered. I don't know where to go. It vibrates. That drive shaft is not balanced. I need to definitely get that. But it drives. Yep. Oh, that clutch is hard.
Just like you. You're just hoping to coast all the way back to the shop if it broke.
Fucking for real, dude. Ooh, that goes like wide open. Like, why does it do that? All we needed to do to drive the car was I was gonna get a custom drive shaft made, but it would have been too expensive, and I reached out to a carbon company that will make me a carbon drive shaft after I change the output shaft on the car. I have that all designed up. It's getting machined out as we speak. I found a workaround to drive the car. What I didn't do is when we pulled apart the S4, I never thought to check on the S4 drive shaft to see if it fits. Now the problem was with the transmission being shorter, the C7 drive shaft did not fit by itself. The differential to the carrier fit, but the carrier to the transmission didn't fit. An A8L drive shaft would have fit, but then the carrier was 8 inches forward and there's no place on the car to bolt it in. Now I was over by JXB one day and I totally forgot about the drive shaft, and we plugged the drive shaft in and it bolted right up. Well, sorta. So the front bolts into the carrier, but now obviously the carrier to the differential didn't fit. But I made a spacer that takes up that space. We could not space the front because it's an external spline, so it's just a slip yoke. There's no way without making basically another shaft that slides over a shaft, and that makes it would have been super long, and I didn't want to do that. So with us doing the B8 shaft, we were able to bolt it in. All I had to do was make the spacer, and now the car drives. One thing I wanted to try is, when I was over by the JXB, is there was a Bentley drive shaft center that he cut apart that I found that you could actually separate them. So what I was hoping to do is use the B8 front and the C7 rear and make one drive shaft, and that'll just be the end of it. Well, it turns out the C7 drive shaft, after I cut the boot off, you can't separate it. So we had to do the spacer. Now I will be changing it to a carbon drive shaft. There is vibrations. It is not perfectly balanced because the spacer is going to go in unison with the drive shaft and make it out of balance because it's not balanced with the spacer on. It's tolerable to drive. It's not like it's just rattling your teeth off, but there is a vibration there. Now, in relation to the canbus, the car started, but there was errors that were a CAN signal from the transmission, the automatic transmission, so the TCM, that was trying to communicate with a bunch of different modules. The car ran, it would have driven just fine, but there would have been hard errors on the dash. There was 19, 20 errors on ABS, parking module, level control, all that other stuff. And I didn't want that. I wanted to be plug and play, like the car came from factory. So what we did is we used a CAN sniffer and we pulled all the signals off of the automatic transmission. We actually had to roll the transmission underneath the car and plug it in with the harness. Now the car has no errors. It starts up just fine. There's nothing. There's literally no errors on the dash. There are a couple errors on the back end, but that is just, they don't matter. They're always just gonna be there. But it's not like it's flooded with 100+ errors. What we did is the car, the canbus module, there's some more stuff that we have to do. So my buddy that is helped me build it is gonna come back in like a couple weeks and we're gonna finalize it. We wanted to plug the clutch position sensor in. The clutch position sensor is wired into the CAN module, because what we want to do is every time you push the clutch in to do a shift, the car will send a signal to the ECU, hey, we're initiating a shift, kind of just like what the TCM will do. The car shifts, there's some little rev like blips that it does when it shifts. You can drive it just fine. It's just when you're like fully into it, it will want to rev past. But by the time we get this all done, that should all be taken care of. We're trying to do it in the tune before he gets here now, just so I can get some data, get some logs, all that other stuff for finalizing the tune. But other than that, you can drive the car. It drives perfectly normal. It's just only when you're like fully into it, when you shift, that we need to fix. All right, it vibrates like a bitch. It makes weird noises.
All cars make weird noises.
I think it's because of the piece that I put underneath here. It's got a fuckload of torque.
Okay, we're doing a B85 then.
It's that noise is fucking annoying.
Well,
like the plastics are chattering. I didn't like that.
That has such a...
It goes up, so...
No. The power delivery.
I mean, I'm in third now. Should I go down?
Well, I mean, drive however you want. I'm just...
Ready?
Yep. All right,
Holy shit!
We're doing it. 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 We're doing it.
Holy fuck!
Yes. That shit pulls so hard.
Yeah, I don't like when it rev hangs like that.
God, that fucking just pulls like a fucking freight train. I mean, I know it's your turbos, but like I said, the power delivery difference from the DSG to what you have in this is just entirely different.
We did have a problem with the car when you would press the brake pedal, like it'd be air free, and you would press the brake pedal like 50%, it would throw tons of errors. It'd throw a brake switch error, it would wig out the level control, it would wig out everything else. Well, it turns out that when I put the B8 pedals in there, I spun the rod that comes from the brake pedal into the booster itself. I made it shorter. And I didn't know, like I totally forgot about it. And all I had to do was lengthen it, and now the car has no errors. I can start the car, I can do all that stuff, I can use my brakes. That switch is working, which allows everything else to work. What we did is we programmed park for the car to be the electronic parking brake. So every time you have to drive the car, you have to set it in park. So what it is, obviously that does that, and then now up on the dash, it says an N, and now we can drive the car. The car basically got wired back to an automatic. So all of like the manual wiring and everything I didn't technically need to do because I needed to send the CAN signals. There were some weird errors like that has to do with the shifter. Basically, like when you shut off the car and you had your door open, it told you to shift into park. Well, we have the electronic parking brake with the CAN module that takes the reading and it actually puts park onto the car because there is no park. Now what that didn't do is it didn't make the comfort module happy. So I couldn't even lock the car. Well, it turns out that there is magnets in the shifter, in the automatic shifter, that we just had to glue to the module. So I took apart the shifter and I just super glued the magnets to the little PCB that was in there, and the error went away. So I leave that plugged in 100% of the time. It is hidden underneath the center console, it fits, and now I have no errors for that. So I can lock the car, I can do all the other stuff that I need to do. I also took a bunch of buddies along for rides. One particular has an S6, an automatic one, and he was in town, so I took him for a ride in that. And we also went over by JXB Performance because I wanted Jay to drive it to see how comparable and how it reacted and drove compared to his S4 when he still had the 4-liter in it.
Oh, I gotta use my left foot?
Yeah, so
it's not trained anymore.
So you need to use your left foot and you got to push down the brake.
It's fucking heavy.
I'm gonna stall it.
You will.
Is it pretty grabby?
It's really fucking
see,
grabby.
look, I don't have to. It's reversing on its own.
Mom, no hands.
Thank God we started on a hill. Oh, it's way up the top.
Yep.
All right, we got it. Yeah, it's a stiff clutch. It feels like a race car. I only drove with the twin on my car the one time before we dropped it off at the shop.
So right here.
And then that was it. Terrible.
It's a
The
small
shifter
rev
is
thing.
like notchy. Or
Yeah.
It's like got some resistance to it for sure. Solid. Be
Brake-
faster without you guys in it.
Break-in period. Well, without me, it would be way faster.
That's when it does like that jump. And I don't know if you're
Yeah, it rev hangs a little bit.
yeah, so we need I have a
Oh yeah, see,
revision.
yep. So you push the clutch in and then it jumps up.
Yeah, that's not
Why's
zip.
your
It's not zip tied down.
shifted?
That's why you pulled it off when you shifted.
Okay, so another thing I think, and I don't know if it's just the turbo that you have, but it feels like it really doesn't boost until you're like deep into the pedal. And
Yeah.
when I first did mine, we had a similar situation. Like you almost had to be floored in order for it to like actually boost.
Even on
And
the
we-
RS7s?
Yeah, it was a pedal issue. It wasn't. It was like a throttle pedal calibration issue.
Okay.
So we made it do more earlier, and then we could get into boost.
I think
I guess you can get into the booster. Maybe it is just the turbo.
It's not.
Yeah, it feels like it takes a little bit long to get into enough throttle to get the boost.
Okay.
Because that was the problem we had. We were like always dropping boost between gears like crazy.
Yeah,
Because
so
it just took so long to get out of the gas and back into the gas.
So we actually need to make a revision because we overboosted by 4.
Okay.
Hold the brake,
Yeah.
and now it shifts the car into park. No, it is.
No, this is sick. I mean, I definitely had my doubts that it was gonna work.
Dang.
I mean, you're just like, fuck it, I'm pulling the trans and I'm gonna go, I got this other trans and I got the shifter coming and I don't know how I'm gonna make a drive shaft and then like all the other like,
Yeah, it just
dealing
worked.
with this ECU and everything. So yeah, that's like sick. We actually got it to work. Tyler said he's gonna sell this to everybody for like $12.
No, you can fuck right off.
That's what I heard.
So that is going to conclude it on the actual manual swap portion of this series. I appreciate everyone following along. Feedback has been amazing on this swap. As far as I know, we're the only one to ever do it on a C7. I'm glad it worked out. I kind of had my doubts at the beginning, but in the end it all worked out, which I'm very thankful for because I really didn't want to take this apart again. I want to give a massive shout out to everyone that has followed along, especially the people that have helped when I've had numerous questions. You know who you are. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Bye. Bye. Should I drive away and leave you? Look, I'm going into the sunset.